Hi everybody, my name is Victoria. Welcome back to my channel, and it is time to talk about the month of August. So August is a busy month for me. It is probably one of the more transitional months in my calendar year, because I go back to work in August after having a couple months off for summer break. If you don't know, I am a public school teacher, so I do go back to work the second week of August, and with that comes a change of schedule, and getting used to my old routine again, getting used to having a routine again. And there are pros and cons that come with that for me. I am looking forward to having a routine again, and it will, I think, help me formulate some of the habits that I'm wanting to do, like working out again. I have a couple goals that kind of start with August that are not related to reading, and so I am trying not to be too hard on myself if like my TBRs don't really go according to plan, because I know that August is going to be a lot for me personally, and just kind of getting back into what my 5 days a week tend to look like as a working mom, and all of the time constraints that are on my life, which we all have. It's just kind of going from 0 to 60 from July to August, and so I'm saying goodbye to having like a slower paced day, and I want to be just aware of like how I'm doing with my mental health and like how I'm coping with that. So yeah, I guess all of that to just preempt this video with, this is a TBR video that is more of books that are on my horizon that I am thinking about, but I never really know how things are gonna go in the month of August. It's always a little bit of a wild card. I'm basically just trying to take off the pressure for myself while also having some responsibilities with reading a little bit. So one of those responsibilities is Bleak House by Charles Dickens. And this one is for a read along that I am very proud of myself that I've been able to stay on top of, because this book is slow for me. Reading it physically is the only option, I think, for me and this book, because I think the audiobook would be really hard to understand, just for me personally. I know for some people Dickens works really well on audio, and I think for me it depends on the Dickens. With this one, it is so complex, and there's so many characters, there's so many moving pieces, that I have to treat this book a little bit more like a school book. I know that sounds like it kind of has a negative connotation. It doesn't for me, but this is just a book that I have to like sit down and study and kind of like research along the way as I'm reading it, so that I can understand what's going on. Because this is a slow process of being able to follow this book and like get as much as I can out of it. And so I have been doing really well with this so far, so I'm hoping to continue that. I've been reading like 1 or 2 chapters a day, and that's been going well. However, it is consuming my physical reading time, and my physical reading time is small. So I don't really, that's not going to change in August. In fact, it'll probably get a little worse. And so I'm just hoping to stay on pace with this book, because I think there's going to be a lot to get out of this book if I stay focused. And we are having live shows on this, so if you want to join in and discuss this book as we go, we have broken this book up into 5 live show discussions. And so we have our second one actually today when this video goes up is our second live show. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what the ladies think about this, as we're like halfway through the book, pretty much exactly halfway. And I have personally really been enjoying it. I've been enjoying this meaty Dickens with so much going on, so much mystery as well. And it's been interesting to see the pieces start to come together. It's funny, even though we're like, 450 pages in or whatever, there's still so many questions, and like he's still kind of bringing in new elements to this mystery. I haven't really read a Charles Dickens that functions as a mystery before, which is kind of what Bleak House is. So it's been a neat experience to see Charles Dickens almost as a mystery writer. I don't know, it's kind of blowing my mind. But yeah, Bleak House is the top priority for the month of August. I also had to remind myself recently that I am also reading Moby Dick. And I think what happened was I was reading Moby Dick first, and I started it in June. I made, a decent amount of progress. Like that's not like too shabby. So I was reading this, but then I started reading Bleak House, and I just couldn't exactly read both physically. So I don't know what I'm gonna do about Moby Dick, but I am technically still reading this. Not sure what kind of progress I'm gonna make in August, but hopefully a little bit. If I could get like maybe halfway through Moby Dick in August, that would be an accomplishment. I would be surprised if I finish it, only if I switch to an audio, which again, with classics and large classics like this, I'm very hesitant to pick up an audiobook because I want to get the most out of reading a classic, and for me, audio is just not that way generally. So we'll see what happens, but I thought I would mention Moby Dick because it does still exist in my life. Another one that I would like to physically read rather than do audio is Robin Hobb's Assassin's Apprentice. And this would be a reread for me. So possibly I might see if I can get an audio for this. But the reason I want to read it physically is because look at this beautiful copy. I got this for Christmas, maybe 2 Christmases ago, or was it last Christmas? I actually don't remember, but it was a Christmas present. And I have been just dying to jump into the illustrated version of these. I never continued with the trilogy. I've only read this one, and it's been a few years since I've read it, so I need to jump back into it. But I'm hoping to read it alongside Deea from A Novel Idea. I'll link her channel down below. She's one of my favorite booktube channels to watch. And I know that I'm going to read this way slower than Deea, so really it's I'm gonna start it in August, and we'll see. Deea's gonna finish this way before me, I know, but it'll be fun to at least have someone to talk to about it as we read. But luckily we don't have to worry about spoilers with me. She can spoil me with where she is. If I fall behind, she can talk to me about the whole book because I have read it before. I just wanted to give it a reread before I continue in the trilogy, because I really wanted to finish the trilogy this year. That was one of my yearly goals, and I would like to read it physically, but we'll see. I might pick up an audio to help along the way, because I do remember this not being a super fast read for me, even though it's not terribly long. But just because of the other things I have going on and that I'm trying to read physically, that might become an audiobook for me. So we will see, but I'm excited to chat with Deea about it while it's kind of fresh in my mind. And then I cannot forget that I'm a co-host for the August Legendary Readathon, which I put an announcement video up a few weeks ago. This is alongside Christy and Naomi and Rainey, and we are reading, I'm actually super excited for this because I think it's a really neat concept. It's Christy's brainchild, and she always comes up with really great ideas for readathons and read-alongs. And that is to read, the only requirement for this readathon is to read an original myth, like an ancient myth of some kind, or just where the origin story is, and then to read a retelling of that, which I love the flexibility that kind of prompt gives you, because with many mythology retellings, there's just a lot of genres that has happened in, and I think you have just a lot of room for that. And luckily I owned a book already that I did want to read, and it's also a book of the month book, so that's 2 birds with 1 stone, because one of my TBR goals is to read 1 book of the month off of this little TBR cart over here every month. So I'm getting to check that off if I finish this next one. But it is the story of Ariadne. So this is the retelling that I'm going to read by Jennifer Saint. And this one, I don't know a whole lot about Ariadne. She tends to be a little bit of a minor character with the story of Theseus, and also she appears in the Odyssey by Homer. I contemplated reading the Odyssey, but I just decided it was too many long, heavy classics. And the Odyssey isn't like the hardest book to read ever. I read it in high school last, so it's been a really long time. And I would like to reread the Odyssey someday, but I just think now is not the right time for that. And so instead, I'm going to be reading the shorter account of Theseus. And Ariadne appears in that legend. I think this retelling is mostly based off of Plutarch's telling of it. It was really hard with Ariadne to find like the origin story, because her story is kind of different depending on which Greek writer you find. So it was a little bit hard to trace like what is the origin of Ariadne, but I decided to settle on Plutarch with his Lives volumes, and this is going to be in volume 1. I'm not reading all of volume 1. I'm only reading the part about Theseus. So it's Theseus, or Life of Theseus or something like that. I don't remember. I'll put a picture right here. But I'm going to be reading this, which is, I believe, pretty short. It's like 20 or 30 pages, I think. And then I'll be reading this retelling. And I'm looking forward to it. This doesn't have super great ratings on Goodreads, so I am kind of, I'm like, I have low expectations for this because it's not like, I think it's like got like a 3 point something average rating, which it's like for Goodreads isn't super high. So we'll see, but I'm hoping to have a good time with this one. Maybe another audiobook one would be a good option for that. Also, we have a group read for this readathon, and that is The Vampire. And I forgot to write down the author, and I don't remember the author of this, but this is the original earliest telling of a vampire story that I think we can trace. And so I'm really looking forward to this. It's also short, and I believe it's only like an hour or so on audio, or maybe 2 hours. So this is going to be a quick read. So hooray for those. I'm going to need those in August. For the group read, we are kind of unofficially going to read Twilight, which is more just something fun we wanted to do. There are probably better vampire retellings. Like we could have read like Dracula, Bram Stoker's Dracula would be another good retelling to do, but no, we're gonna do Twilight. And I haven't read Twilight in a long time. And if I have fun rereading Twilight, oh my gosh, I can't talk. If I have fun rereading Twilight, I will definitely continue and read the rest of the series. So I am looking forward to this, and to do it with a group of friends. And we also are planning a watch along of Twilight at the end of August, just to celebrate. So excited for that. I think it's going to be a really fun time. But the TBR doesn't end there. Oh no. I would like to hopefully participate in Tiffany's Patreon book club read, which is the Saturdays by, I think it's Elizabeth Enright. And this will be Claire's pick, actually. Claire will be joining us for discussing this book. So I definitely would like to be a part of that. I think that'll be super fun. And then I also started on my Kindle, I did start The Mysterious Affair at Styles, which is my first Agatha Christie book. And I am just at the beginning of this. This one got kind of left at the wayside in July, and so I do want to work through this one. I wanted to read this for Janelle-a-thon, but Janelle-a-thon was at the beginning of July. If you don't know, this is in honor of a beloved booktuber in our community who did pass away recently, and she was a big mystery reader, and I have never read an Agatha Christie before, so I thought Janelle would be happy if I jumped into Agatha Christie for the first time in honor of her. And so this is absolutely still getting read this year. I'm just really slow right now, and so my Janelle-a-thon is continuing. In the back of my mind, I am also wanting to read Yumi and the Nightmare Painter, which is the third Brandon Sanderson secret project. So this one, I was really excited. I just got an email that my copy has shipped and I will hopefully receive my physical copy soon. And I could also read this on Kindle because I have the Kindle version. So we'll see which one I end up doing. But this is like at the bottom of the priority pile for me right now. So the chances of getting to this in August are pretty slim, just being real. But it is on the horizons as a book that I want to have in my rotation coming up next. So I just thought I would mention it, even if it doesn't, I don't have high hopes for getting to this in August at all, but it is on my radar. That ended up being a bigger TBR than I thought, which is always how TBR videos go for me. And we'll see what happens. But these are the books that I'm excited about. These are the books that I am looking forward to getting to soon. And I would love to know if you have gotten to any of these yourself, or what is a book that you are interested in reading in August. I would love to know. Are you going to join us for the Legendary Readathon? Are you going to join us for Twilight? Are you going to watch Twilight with us? I'll link my announcement video and the other ladies' announcement videos as well if you want to learn more about that. Thank you so much for watching this video today. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Keep reading great books, and until next time, bye-bye.